Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast for all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time. I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your listening and viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, where you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. And that is the reason that we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And our broadcast is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer, where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery. And you will save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the Give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware to support the broadcast, and those of you that use the QR code or the link provided on Facebook, and of course on our websites at NewLifeMinistriesInternational.com and NewLifeInternationalCDC.com. We thank all of you for your commitment and for your support as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. We had a little glitch that I noticed on our technology platform, and it surprised me, but nonetheless, we are live. We are here with you right now in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. And I want to remind all of our listeners and viewers that we are now in the midst of our June FijiWater.com sponsored promo. We had a winner for the month of May. Ryan Struble of New York was our winner of the FijiWater.com sponsored promo, and Ryan will be receiving a case of Earth's finest water shipped right to his front door from FijiWater.com. And I want to remind everyone, in order to participate, you have to go to our internet radio station, WKAPFaith.com. And the first three songs that you hear at 12 noon or at 6 p.m., write the list of those songs, document them along with your name and your email address. Text them to the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. One of our listeners and viewers will be selected to win a case of Earth's finest water from FijiWater.com. I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are having some emotional struggles dealing with the reality of your divorce. You said you were a strong family unit until your ex-husband decided he had had enough of your attitude and your complaining, and decided that he didn't want to be married any longer. And you're struggling with that, and understandably so. And you want to know, how do you deal with the rejection and the emotional reaction of the divorce? So let me first of all say this. And this is what we all have to be mindful of. You've got to know that when divorce happens, first and foremost, as much as you enjoyed the family unit, and as much as you didn't want to be divorced, one of the things we have to realize is that divorce does happen. And when it happens, it's because the people we have been married to are not the people or the person that God has joined together for your life. And let me tell you the reason that I say that. Because the scripture clearly indicates that what God joins together, no man can put asunder. No man can separate. No man can divorce if it is God who has joined it together. Now, what happens often in life is that we see someone who's bright and shiny, and when I use that analogy, I'm referring to the fact that we like them for whatever reasons we like them. But it's not who God appointed for our lives. And we join ourselves to those people believing that, if there's certain things we don't like about them, we can get them to change. We can shave off some of the corners of the square peg and fit it in the round hole. And the reality is that's never going to happen. What we have to recognize is that the person we want to be joined together with is the person that God appoints for our lives, the person that God sends to us, and not someone we've chosen we ourselves. So let me begin there. When you realize that, you'll be able to start peeling back some of the struggle. You'll be able to start dealing with the reality of the divorce. I'm not saying that it's easy to get over that for many people. What I am saying is that the fact that your husband made the decision that he was tired of your attitude, he was tired of you complaining, he was in a state of mind that he felt comfortable being by himself as opposed to being a strong family unit, means that he's not the person God has assigned for your life. He was there for a reason, a season, but not a lifetime. Now, having said all of that, there is someone that God has appointed for your life. There is someone that God will send to you. You have to be open to receive, and you can't be open to receive if you're still struggling with what you don't have. So you're going to have to come to terms with what God is doing in your life. However, when that person comes, you have to have already prepared yourself for the person God is going to send. And what that means is that you've been given the advantage of being told what the problems were in your marriage. You went through some of the scenario in your communication, but your ex-husband said your attitude and you were constantly complaining or berating him. You said, he told you he felt like you were trying to emasculate him. Those were your words. So now that you know what the problems that he perceived that he no longer wanted to endure, you have to make certain that those are things you begin to change. You have to begin to take a different approach and realize that if there are some things that are going to create a problem, you got to be willing to change those things. There are some people who can tolerate more than others. There are some people who can, not that they accept your attitude or your complaining, but they can take it for longer than others. But at some point in time, you've got to decide, these are things about myself that I have to change if I want to have a great quality of life. Because here's what you've got to realize also. If that's a part of the problem in your personal life, it's also going to be a problem in your professional life. We often talk about these things in our Sunday sermons. I know we have these conversations in my household. But you just can't say everything that you feel you want to say. And it doesn't matter if it's your spouse. And this is good for all of our listeners and viewers. Sometimes there's some things that are just not that deep, which means they don't need to be said. Just because you want to be heard. If they're not going to add to the quality of life, sometimes it's just not worth saying. Sometimes it's just, if it's a thought, you got to say to yourself, okay, there's that little demon sitting on your left shoulder, your angel on your right shoulder. One of them wants you to bridle your tongue and renew your mind. Get your heart right, because from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And then the other one wants you to say whatever comes to your mind so that you can't have any peace in your household. And that's a constant battle for most people. Many people, I'll say that. I won't say most, I'll say many. But the reality is, we have to decide how we want to become better versions of ourselves. And if you're doing that in your personal life, if that's caused a problem to the point in your personal life that your husband decided that he was going to file for a divorce, you have to know that it's not only going to have an impact on your personal life and your quality of life, it's also going to have an impact on your career, your professional life. And we all should want to be the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become, so you may have to start right there. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. If you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill. At T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers. However, before I do, this segment of the broadcast is going to be brought to you by PorscheAmerica.com. So if you are currently in the market for a high-performance automobile, one of the finest high-performance automobiles ever manufactured, go to PorscheAmerica.com, where you will have the opportunity to virtually build out the Porsche you desire to own. And if you're in our area, you can simply go to PorscheDelaware.com, ask to speak to Mike Didio, who is the general manager at PorscheDelaware.com. He will have someone assist you in selecting the Porsche you desire to own. And if you currently own a Porsche, you can experience the best service ever. Go to PorscheDelaware.com, ask to speak to Mike Adams, who is the service manager at PorscheDelaware.com. He will make certain that someone schedules an appointment for you, that they pick up your vehicle at your home or office, drop off a loaner vehicle to you, and return your vehicle to you when your service has been completed at PorscheDelaware.com. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated your family is starting to annoy you about settling down, getting married, and having children. And you say all you want to do is live your life and have fun and focus on your career. Okay, so first of all, let me say this. You're a millennial. Okay. I know you all love to have fun. You say you're looking for experiences, but really what it boils down to is you want to have fun. The problem is your family's concerned for you because they don't want you wasting these good quality years just having a good time. Then when you are no longer the flavor of the month, Men aren't chasing you to go out on dates. Your friends are all going to settle down eventually. You're going to be alone. And your family doesn't want that for you. They don't want to leave you alone in your own thoughts. Your parents realize that they're not going to live forever. And they don't want to leave you here alone trying to figure it out for yourself. So they tell you it's time to settle down. You say you're getting annoyed. You're going to do what you want to do. You want to have a good time. You think that's a good life. But that's not a good life. That's just living your life. And you say that's what you want to do. So if that's what you want to do you. But you're not going to stop them. However, you're not going to stop them from telling you the right thing to do. And let me tell you what the right thing to do is, because I can stand on God's word every time. And God's word says that he wants us to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. But before he said that, he said it's not good for man to be alone. So what God is telling us is that he expects us to marry. He expects us to be fruitful. Now, that word means a couple of things, because for a woman, if God opens your womb, you're blessed to have children, then that's what you're supposed to do. And if you are not blessed to have your own child, there are plenty of children you can volunteer to cover their lives. He just wants us to be fruitful. It means he wants us to bear some fruit. So that's a good thing. But he said replenish the earth. And what that means is, in order to replenish the earth, we have to do it, first of all, by bearing children. And second of all, by taking care of our environment. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about the environment. We know what we can do. We know what we can do to reduce our carbon footprint. We know what we can do to have an impact on the community in which we live in. All of those are very simple things. But he said, replenish the earth. Having children. So God wants us to be married. He wants us to have children. And he wants us to replenish the earth. And then what he wants us to do is to have this relationship with him that will allow us to enter into the fullness of God, so that we can then focus on maximizing the fullness of God by building a legacy of God that will be passed down from generation to generation. That's what he wants for us. But you've decided you want something else for yourself. Which means that you're going to live your life, but you're not going to have life and have it more abundantly. So, I'm supportive of what your family is saying. So it wasn't just your parents. You said your family. That means your siblings. That means, so that's your immediate family. Then you've got your external family, aunts, uncles, grandparents. Everyone's telling you the same thing. And here's what you've got to realize. Your family are people who, in most cases, there are exceptions to every rule, are the people who love you most. They're telling you this for a reason. And they're right. The problem is that you've decided that all you want to do, and these were your words, all you want to do is live your life and have fun and focus on your career. That means outside of your career, fun is not only your priority, it is your only thought process for life. That is not a formula for success, let alone maximizing your success. Because let me tell you what will happen. The more fun you try to have, the less focus you are going to place on your career. You'll go and do your work and you'll do a good job, but your career is only a mechanism for you making money to have fun. That's not conducive for success or maximizing your success. It's just a formula for fun. And I've got to tell you that your family is right. I mean, you're hearing it from an outsider reading in just by your communication. Your family's correct. Because in the end, you'll be alone. And that's not conducive for you maximizing your success and for building a great, amazing quality of life. You'll live. You'll have some fun, but that's all it'll be. And that's not conducive for success or for maximizing your success. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by Comcast Business. Every one of us needs to be more effective and efficient in business. Comcast Business gives you the opportunity to do just that. Call Comcast Business, Eunice at 603-222-7706. Your code is Pastor Pope, and you will receive an $800 prepaid Visa gift card with a qualifying bundle. Call Eunice at Comcast Business at 603-222-7706. Your code is Pastor Pope, and with a qualifying gig bundle, you will receive an $800 prepaid Visa gift card. And this segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Under Armour Golf. If you're a golfer, such as myself, we need to be doing more of that this season. But if you're a golfer such as myself, even when it's a busy time, you want to get out and experience a great golf outing. Under Armour Golf has what you need to experience a great golf outing. Go to underarmourgolf.com. In the search bar, type in the word golf, and you will find everything that Under Armour has to offer for you to experience a great golf outing. And if you're just in need of some additional athletic gear, go to underarmourgolf.com. They have everything you could possibly need to make sure that you enjoy exercise, athletics, anything that you can do to enhance your health and wellness. You can find it at underarmour.com. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have been watching the broadcast for a few years, you said, and you feel that you have made some changes in yourself. And you approach life much differently now. And you want to take the next step. You want to go to the next level. So, first of all, let me say this. I want to say thank you, first of all, for being a consistent listener for the years that have gone by in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. To God be the glory. You know, we thank all of you for being tuned in, but we love consistency. So we're delighted that you've been with us for several years now, and I want to say to you, this is the time to take the next step. You feel like you've made some changes in yourself. You said in your communication, you become a better version. And you want to continue becoming a better version, because the great thing is it doesn't stop. And once we make some changes in ourselves, particularly you said your approach to life, you said in your communication, your attitudes become more positive. You look through the eyes of faith now as opposed to just speaking faith, and that's a great thing, because it's real easy for people to say that they believe, but now you've got vision, and so you're seeing things through the eyes of faith. You're looking at things through the eyes of God. You want to know what's the next step. So let me say this. When you get to this place, it's time to take everything to the next level. So for those, for you, you said you wrote a 7-year plan. So I know you've been with us for a while because, I've talked about that many, many times. You said you struggle a little bit with writing the 14-year plan, but that's the next level. And the next level is going to a 14-year plan and a 21-year plan and looking through the eyes of God with vision to see where God desires that you go. And then what you have to believe is beyond what you can see. So, I will tell you, and I've shared this, I've written a 7-year plan, a 14-year plan, a 21-year plan. I've now written a 28-year plan, a 35-year plan, and a 42-year plan. And I really have to say, I realize that 42 years, well, I will tell you, the next 2 decades of that, God willing, I'll still be around. But if I'm not, there's a plan in place. And what I mean by that is that, life goes on. Our children and our grandchildren are going to be fine because of what my wife and I have already established and what our children are now established. But I'm thinking about just my children's children, but my children's children's children. The great-grandchildren. And you hope that you not only leave them riches, but that you leave them spiritual riches. So that's the next level, is making certain that you continue looking out on the horizon of life, that you continue writing the plan, and that you continue working the plan. Even if it's just as simple as bullet pointing, what you want to accomplish, 3 things that you want to accomplish in your personal life and your professional life. And I don't want you to make it real easy. Do it by quarter, not by year. Okay? Because it's, some people will say, well, I've got 3 things I want to accomplish this year. Personally, I got 3 things I want to accomplish this year. Professionally, that gives me 2 months to work on each of them, and hopefully by the end of the year, I'll have accomplished what I want to accomplish. That's great. But you got to push yourself a little further. You got to know what you want to accomplish, both personally and professionally, hopefully every quarter of the year, because there's 4 seasons. And we don't do the same things in every season. We don't. I am completely convinced that there are things that change. Particularly, we're in a region where we have 4 seasons, so I get a chance to see what I'm doing differently every quarter. As the climate changes, as it becomes colder, then warmer, then hot, and then fall, which is not a time that we want to fall off what we're doing. We want to push really to end the year strong. So you've got to think about these things. And we spend more time thinking about everything else than we do about taking the next step. So I'm delighted that you want to take the next step. The next step will lead you to the next level. One thing that you all, and I know you've been with us a while, but one of the things that I say is we're all climbing the stairway to heaven every day. And climbing requires you to go to the next level. You are ready to take that step. So now I'm going to encourage you to continue writing the vision, making it plain. Write your plan and work your plan. And you will see what God does to manifest the plan that you have written. Because if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist. If you don't write it down, it will not happen. Today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast is brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery. And you will save money at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace that surpasses all understanding. Have a great day today. I look forward to being in your viewing.